Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. This is a space where we share real stories of people who are not just following a path, but choosing to create their own, and in this process, inspiring others to do the same. In this upcoming episode, I had a really meaningful conversation with Divesh Soni. He's a founder of Purpose Genie and someone who is doing some very thoughtful work around leadership and purpose. What really stayed with me is his focus on middle managers, the ones who are right in the middle of everything: people, performance, and culture, and yet often don't get the support they truly need. Through his work, he's helping leaders move beyond just delivering results to building trust, alignment, and more meaningful impact. He's also the author of Unleash Your Purpose, and I loved how he spoke about purpose, not as something we wait to find, but something we build through how we show up every single day. This conversation really made me pause and reflect. If you're navigating leadership, building teams, or just thinking about how to create more meaning in what you do, this episode is definitely worth listening to. It's coming soon on the Trailblazers podcast. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. This is a space where we have real conversations with people who are choosing courage versus just sitting in the comfort zone. So, today I'm going to bring to you a very, very special guest that I have in front of me, Divesh Soni. And we're going to talk about a very important topic, which is nothing else than purpose. He's a purpose genie and also trademarked his new venture that he is working on with all his mind and heart. So I really welcome you to this podcast, Devesh. It's an honor to have you, and I'm looking forward for our heartfelt conversation today.
Thank you very much, Sandhya, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very looking forward to this discussion conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for joining us today. So, a little bit of introduction before we deep dive. Divesh Soni is a founder of Purpose Genie, where he works with organizations to activate purpose driven leadership, especially supporting middle managers who often carry the greatest responsibility for performance, people, and culture. Through consulting, workshops, coaching, and speaking, he helps leaders build psychologically safe teams, strengthen collaboration, and align purpose with performance. He's also the author of the book Unleash Your Purpose, and we are going to also talk about his other book, which he has written previously. And in this new book, he explores how individuals can connect with deeper meaning in their work and lives. So I'm really looking forward for this conversation, Devesh. Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast.
Thank you very much, Sandhya.
All right, so before we begin and go deep dive, I'm really curious about. I know you were in a deep corporate career for many, many years, and you were working just like many other people across the world. So, where did this inkling and this new seed begin?
You mean to become the founder of Purpose Genie?
Yeah,
When did it happen?
yeah,
Okay, I will not say it happened suddenly, but it happened gradually. I remember, long time back when I was working, I always wanted to be at a leadership position, wanted to be CEO of, and I remember there was some of the manifestation also I did to become a CEO of the company. And when I was so my career started in 2008 when I did my engineering, and I wanted to do something unique, and I chose something like engineering in fashion technology. I convinced my father. He never wanted me to be there because my brother was in IT, and that time IT was a very lucrative kind of job, and very it was booming at that moment of time. So he said that you have to also go for IT. I said I want to do something unique. I don't know why, but uh, I wanted to do that. And then he got convinced. I went to that college, and in the third year, the the management decided to stop that course. Okay,
okay,
and I could not tell that to father because he was in any which ways he was not convinced doing that course. And then so that time what happened, I really took the ownership of myself, and because there were a lot of people in that batch, I also took responsibility of those people because they were also like very sad, and they could not understand that what to do. I remember going to the management office every day and demanding that what do you, because this is your responsibility on what have you, what is the plan which you have for us. And then there were a lot of discussion, nothing happened. After completing the engineering, we did not have any job. I We went to a lot of factories, going around the factories and finding the job. The first job which I had was 6,000 rupees. Okay. And standing in the line, so that is a factory job. You have to stand in the line to get your salary. And I got 6,000 rupees. I still remember, and that was very painful to me, but I could not show that pain to my parents because he, they understood my problem, but I never wanted to show that I am not very happy with what I have achieved today. But something was going inside me. But then after working for 2 years in the factories, I thought that if I have to become CEO of the company, then working in factory will not work, and I
Right.
have to upgrade myself. So when I explored then in that particular industry, I understood that going to NIFT is a college called National Institute of Fashion Technology, which is a one of the premium college. I thought that let's try to get into NIFT, but I did not want to ask my father for the money. I went to I asked my brother because he already was into job and he was not earning that much, but still I just thought let me check with my brother if he can do something about it. I said that I am not very happy with what is happening. I really want to grow in terms of my career, and this is not working anymore. Although I was doing good in the factory, I was one of the great performer. But then, if you have to really evolve yourself, then it was not the place. I said, if I get top 20 rank so that I can get Delhi branch, Delhi branch for that particular stream which I wanted to have,
Yeah.
I will get into that, or else I will skip. So he said, okay, let's do that. And I got rank 13 all over India,
Wow.
and I got Delhi Center. So then my brother said, okay, then let's do it. And then he paid my entire fees, and he was very early into the career. So I'm still very grateful for him to do that. But then after NIFT, the of course that gave me a platform, although not very much of too much of learning because I already had my experience. But then it gave me a platform to move to Decathlon. So I had a campus placement in Decathlon, and I worked there for 5 years. I was very good performer in Decathlon. I kind of, and Decathlon was a very good company, giving me a lot of exposure, travel across, Europe. I went to Paris 3 times. I went to Switzerland, Belgium, and different countries, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all those countries I traveled. I was loving the work.
Yeah.
And then I became manager also there. So at that moment of time, I was like, yes, I am doing good. I will grow. And then I decided to move to Delhi because I was about to get married. My wife was settled here because she was into Delhi University. So I requested Decathlon management that can I move to Delhi because we had office in Delhi also. But then business in Delhi was shrinking and it was expanding more in Bangalore. So when I came here, the opportunity was very less. But I thought let me explore some other jobs. So I went to a different company called Target, and Target was a culture shock for me, because the Decathlon was very dynamic in the sense that the CEO of the company was standing beside me, and he worked, and we just kind of said, okay, good morning, how are you, and all those things, very casual discussion. But when I moved to Target, the very first month, the CEO of the company was about to visit from US to India, and they took 10 days to decorate the entire office. And that was although this is the culture which many of the companies are having, but for me it was a culture shock that how can you give so much importance to the CEO of the company. That's fine, it's okay. And that was not, i mean I got that from my ex company and was completely into that. I could not sustain for long in that company just because of that, because a huge culture shock. And then I got opportunity in Tesco. Then I realized that it was not Decathlon, but I mean, I realized that Decathlon was unique in terms of the culture, but most of the companies are like that, where you have to understand this thing that there is a hierarchy, there is a position, you have to respect that. And also, I understood about the flat structure
Yeah.
because the way I got growth in Decathlon, I had to wait. I had to really wait for a long, long time, and it took almost 5 years to get a next promotion. Although I was a great performer, and always used to get, the top grade in terms of my performance. But then I realized that I think what I was manifesting for me becoming a CEO of the company, it will not happen like that. So I need to do something else. So that uniqueness again came into picture. So I thought, okay, let me try. So I was always into education. I did my Six Sigma black belt. I did a lot of certification. I was always into education. I loved, skilling myself. After COVID happened, that's where there was a little bit of shift which happened when I started understanding about myself. I did NLP coaching. I did a course from University of Queensland called Design Thinking, which was very famous, and it makes a lot of sense. So that's where I thought that my entire career of 13 years, it is not something which I wanted to do. My inclination is towards people, and that gave me a lot of thinking that I was thinking to do something else, going to that up. You have to do the vertical ladder, but
Yeah.
then it was not making sense to me. So I thought, let's explore people side of the thing. I created my website. I started writing. Uh, I wanted to do training for, in my area, but I could not do that. So that's where what happened, that when I started blogging and I started creating, website and writing my book. I had a discussion within Tesco with my HR, and he said that I see that on LinkedIn you're creating a lot of posts, and which gives me an indication that you have inclination towards people and you are working in quality. Do you want to work in HR? I said, given a chance, yes, because I know that there is an inclination towards that. So one thing was clear, that now I want to work for people, and I have to. I may move to an entire shift in my career. But on the other hand, when I was doing my design thinking course from Australia, I met a lady. So she was a guest lecturer, and she was the first guest on my podcast called Danielle Duell. She talked about values and the purpose. And when she talked about that in that particular lecture, it was there was a huge resonance with what I used to think.
Yeah.
And that's where purpose came into picture, that this is what I want to do. This is
Lightning
what
moment.
is making sense to me. Before purpose, the brand which I created was called Simpligence, so it
Okay.
started with my quality. When I was very much into Six Sigma and Lean.
Mm.
So Lean is all about how do you reduce your
Right.
wastage. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Simply just was, how can you simplify your intelligence so that
Right.
you can be, you can focus on what you really want to focus. And when purpose came into picture, the purpose gene is in the same alignment, which says that when you know your purpose, how can you eliminate everything else and just focus on what you want to do, what matters to you. That was the starting point of Purpose Genie, and I still thanks Daniel for that. I really admire her, and she was the first guest. She honored my first podcast episode, and it's going to release today itself. So this today is that day when it will be released. Yeah. So that was the starting point of Purpose Genie. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, amazing, right? So, right from the beginning, your undergrad, and then working with companies like Decathlon, Target, and then Tesco, and then finally, coming up with your own newsletter. I've checked out your newsletter. It looks amazing. A lot of followers are there.
Thank
And then
you.
your books, your writing, and that constant drive that you have to keep on learning new things. It's just an amazing segment of your journey that you shared. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Devesh. I know we talked several times before, but I never knew about this part of your journey. So I'm listening to it for the first time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, so the next thing that I was really curious about, and whenever I see you, right, we met a few times already. Whenever I see you, you have this beautiful, simple smile on your face, and then the calmness that comes on your face is like really infectious, I should say.
Really,
Yeah, I mean,
thanks for that.
yeah. So recently, remember when we were doing that online session for the other team that we were doing, and then they were asking questions or whatever it is, but the calmness on your face looked just utterly still. I mean, like, wow. I like, so I'll be like jumping here and there if I'm going through like, you know, the stressful. But are you like that? I mean, I'm very curious. Like, are you just like that
I mean,
always?
That was surprising for me when you said that you, although I think this feedback I have got from many people that you look very calm when you smile and you look very subtle. But
Yeah.
inside, I'm not like that. There is a lot of panic many of times, and I think my wife would know that. And my family would know that. But yes, I do practice a lot of calmness in the morning because I'm a morning person. I get up very early in the morning, like 4:30,
Wow.
and and meditation is my constant practice. I do that. I try to practice calmness, but I still have to, because I mean there was a lot of revelation which happened when I did my recent psychometric assessment from, although I did multiple one, but the recent one was called Hogan, which is a more of your personality and your derailers and also your values.
Yeah.
And I understood something which I never understood before. That was something really helped me a lot to think that, okay, now this is who you are. Now what you want to do and where exactly you lagged and why it did not succeed, which I really wanted to get success. So I'm just focusing on that at this moment of time. Yeah.
And that leads into my next question, right? So you're so, so, so passionate about purpose. And I can tell the minute, even if before you hear that word, also like you will take the conversation towards it. So tell me, like, what is the story behind you finding your main purpose? And why are you so passionate about helping others find their purpose?
To be very frank, when I think I was talking about the COVID story. When COVID happened, I was in this room. So this flat, I moved here almost 6 years ago. So this is the room where I was like constantly in the morning. I used to come with a cup of coffee, a black coffee, and then used to think that what should I do? I mean, what is something which really makes sense to me? Who exactly I am? I spent a lot of time understanding about it. I think that started with NLP and NLP certification, which I did. And I really went into childhood with some of the coaches to understand that why this is so important for me. One of the main keyword which is there around, I mean, around purpose is how can you become yourself? Be yourself is something which I really, it really gives me a lot of energy, that you have to be yourself, and I really want to help people to be themselves. You have to respect your unique self. That is something which is around purpose. That is the main sense behind that. Now why it is coming, I think in the childhood when so I'm the middle child. Okay, so I don't know if you can relate to that. So we have three siblings. I have a younger sister, I have elder brother. So the middle child has a tendency that he or she will always get, I mean, he get lesser recognition or attention, because your elder son has, your elder sibling has already taken all the attention. And because my sister is younger and she's the only girl in the family, she's getting all the love. And doesn't mean that I'm not getting that love, but
Yeah.
as a child you are just thinking that why, I mean,
Yeah.
what wrong I am doing, because of that I'm not getting this attention and appreciation.
Yeah.
And then my brother was very intelligent. He was topper of the school. So that time I still remember that father used to say, "ये नहीं पढ़ेगा for me, ये पढ़ेगा नहीं," because he is not like his brother. He can't study, and he has to work very hard for studying. And on the other side, there are people who said that you don't belong to this family because your face doesn't resemble to your mother or father. So maybe your father went out for something and he picked up from outside. You don't belong to this family. That was just a joke from the family. But I took it very seriously inside, and that, I think that changed my personality, where I really felt that I have to prove myself. I have to be myself. Uh, and then something happened. I mean, there are some of the stories which I think I'm just telling you, because that has shaped me who exactly I am. Then my father decided, I mean, in our generation the father used to decide that, okay, so my this son will do this, my this son will do this, my this daughter will do this. For my brother it was doctor, for me it was engineer. My father wanted me to to go to IIT. So I went to Kota for 2 years. Okay. So first year Kota, that was like, I was just 16, I think 18, 19 years.
Wow.
I went to Kota, and I got a group of 8 people. I played a lot of cricket, like only cricket. First year was only cricket. Okay. And I failed miserably. My rank was 1,50,000 something in IIT. My father was very, very angry, like, what have you done? And I was thinking I was studying there, but he was playing cricket and all. I said, just give me one more year. I want to spend one more year. I will prove myself. I really worked very hard. 20th of April was the exam, and 4th of April, just after my birthday, 4th of April, I got jaundice.
Oh,
Okay. And I went to the examination room with a bottle of, that glucose water. And my rank was again beyond 1 lakh, you know. So I started, and that's where I thought that I have to do something unique, because now this is a lot work. I am not going to be engineer anymore. I have to do something unique. I have to prove to my father that I can do something. So that again was, so those 2 years has really, that is the pain of my life that I still remember. I can't forget that those 2 years, because it is there inside me, and that gave me efficiency and productivity in my life. When I go to factory, like the 13 years, I always focused on the productivity in the factory, and that helped me to become a good
yeah.
engineer, or quality assurance, where I really help them to improve the efficiency. And all those people who know me in the factory, they will know me about talking about the productivity and efficiency. Then the third stage happened when I moved to the corporate. I started, so although I was from convent school, but all those boys are, they will have a group. They will never speak in English, and they will speak in Hindi, and because of that, my communication was not that good. So when I went into the corporate, my English was severely mocked. Like, I used a word, and everybody started laughing. I thought, oh my God, I mean, I have to improve here. And because of that improvement and just overthinking, I did not improve, but I kept silent. I did not talk much. I did not talk much. I moved to Chennai, and Chennai was, I I was there for 1 year, and everybody was very good in English. And I kept
Yes.
telling myself that I am not that good. I'm not good enough in English. But that English, and that did not stop me. But then I started exploring that how can I improve my English. That's where I moved into the professional speaking, because that English is always there in my mind. That passion of speaking is always there in my mind. So these all things have really shaped me as a person who I am. Leadership from the college, when I took the ownership of my course.
Right.
English from mocking. Then
Okay.
the efficiency and productivity came from the lean thing, came from my college.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those things came like that. Yeah, so this is what I mean. What was the question? I think I got a little bit driven towards my story, and I forgot the question entirely. So,
So you were explaining how you figured out the passion towards not
yes,
only finding your
being
purpose, but
yourself.
for helping others. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, this is what I think, when I thought that I have to be, and one thing always constantly was in my mind, that what unique I can do, and how can I prove myself. My father still compares with me with my brother. Still he does that. There is a lot of argument, or yeah, it happens in all the family. So he still compares, and I'm like, why do you compare me with my brother? I mean, he has a different likings altogether. He has a different personality altogether. I'm a different person. I should not be compared. But still inside that, when I again connect to my childhood, and I again think that why I'm not like my brother. Sometimes that is in my mind, but we have a very good relationship. Myself and my brother, I have a huge respect. After my father, I think it's my brother who has taken care of me for everything, the story which I told. So that's where I think constant proving myself, and being unique to prove myself. I realize that everybody should have this kind of attitude, where you really,
Yeah.
you should not hide. You should not, just because of external influence and the pressure, you should not be thinking about how can I be somebody else. You should get some inspiration from outside, but not by losing yourself. You have to be yourself. That's the main essence we all need to understand. And then when I heard Daniel, and when I understood more about purpose, with that, being yourself with the passion which you have,
Right.
purpose is mainly about how can you support others with the passion which you have.
Right.
Passion is very selfish in nature, because you really want to do something for yourself. Speaking for myself, then creating a brand for yourself and doing anything for yourself. But when you shift your focus from yourself to somebody else, that becomes purpose. And then I started understanding more about that particular brand, and we will talk about the other stuff, that what purpose is, and what are those elements around it. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. I mean, from the childhood and what you have experienced, getting a rank, um, from what you just said, I couldn't derive. You gave in your best to try to fit in with a regular journey that everybody tries to impose on us, but fortunately, it didn't work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
You're
is
right. Yeah, exactly. It
that
did
is
happen.
great
Correct.
because it was meant to happen for you in a very, very unique and different way, and that's the reason
Correct.
why we are having this show of trailblazers,
Yeah.
and you are a real trailblazer, I would say.
And
Um,
I just wanted to add something here, Sandhya, because the good side of this is when I kept on telling myself and setting my standard very high, although I
yeah,
did not go up the ladder, which I was talking about, but I explored multiple things. Like, even in my same industry, retail is my industry,
right.
where I was working. I worked in store, I worked in quality department, I worked in the sourcing department, which is the commercial side of it. I worked as an industrial engineer. I also worked in HR team. So I have worked end to end in the entire, different departments, and that helped me when I
Right.
was doing my last role in Tesco as a learning and development. It really helped me and other people to tell me their story, that this is what, as a learning and development, it is really important to understand that where this need is coming from. And I could really understand because I know their side, because I have worked their side. But
Yeah,
mostly in HR, sometimes you'll realize that when you talk to people, um, it is very difficult for you to understand, because you don't know the background of where it is coming from. You may just understand the verbatim of those people, that this is what they're asking, but where it is coming from you may not understand. But for me it was very easy, and very easy to connect to different people across the globe. I had a discussion with people from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka,
yeah.
from China, and there was such a good conversation for those 3 years. So yeah, I really loved that work. But yes, when purpose was something which was really more meaningful for me to do.
And at the end of all these stories, I think naturally the universe was trying to help you with not just your manifestation of becoming a CEO, but I mean, irrelevant of the title that you probably might have imagined yourself, but now the simplicity that you have and the consistency that you display every day with your discipline, habits, and all of that looks like you're up for global stuff, and I can totally relate that. And then I really want to talk about this aligning not just your purpose with something that you want to do only for yourself, but I was stuck with this thing. I was going through your book earlier, and then I was stuck with this thing like, okay, up until now I always heard about like find your passion, find your purpose, and find this and that. And then for the very first time when I heard about you through our dear friend Midil, and I had the conversation with you, remember? We were having like, just an open talk to get to know each other. And then one thing that stuck to me was, hey, not just aligning our purpose with ourselves, our needs, but how about aligning with global needs? That really stuck me. I mean, why don't you talk about your perspective? Like, how did you even come about this?
Thank you for asking this question, because this is something which is really important for all of us to understand, because this is not for us, it is about something bigger, right?
Yeah.
um, I think all of us, each one of us have, I mean, if you talk spiritually, we are here to do something for our own journey, but more than us, it is about somebody else. We are a social animals as a human, and we really feel good when we align ourselves with somebody else's need. Yeah, and this is what we do as a family, this is what we do as a friend. We all kind of support each other with whatever we can do. And it is not for, it is for somebody else, but indirectly it also helps you. Thank you for asking that question, Sandhya. I think this is something which I really feel that whatever we are doing at this moment of time, some way or the other, we are trying to solve some problem. And what else could be the problem which we have in the world, where world can become prosperous? So late, I mean, 2015, I think all those different people, different governments from 195 countries, they sat together and they defined those 17 big problems in the world. And they say that if we solve those problems, the world will become prosperous. And this is what we all should contribute towards, because that world which we are talking about is not somebody else's, it is ours, right? And this is what, if we love our children, if we really want to give them a very different platform and the legacy which we want to create, I think we should really focus on these problems, because these problems can really impact our children. And when I was writing my first blog, I remember I was thinking that who will read my blog? Who will be a person who will read my blog? And when I closed my eyes, the thing which came into my, in front of me was, if my son will be, I had a son at that time, I think he was 4 or 5 years. If my son would need something and if I will not be around, maybe he will read my blog and he will understand something about the values of what I carry, as a value. So that is a legacy which I want to give to him. And this is what initiated me to write blogs and then the books and all those things. Now these sustainable development goals are the problem which I really feel that even my children, I mean, now I can say my children because I have my daughter also, that they should really be passionate about understanding these things, because this is something which we all have to contribute towards. These are the big problems which we all should focus on, and not individually, also as a business. Like what business, when I looked at different factories, like I traveled around across 200 factories in different parts of the world, and everybody, I mean, everyone who was creating a small product like a pen or paper or whatever product which they're doing, they're trying to solve some problem. I mean, that is a different story altogether, that they're also destroying a lot of things, doing all those wastages from the factories and all those pollution which they're creating. But then they're trying to solve the problem, but they're not realizing that what problem they are solving. So it is important that everybody should understand and connect to the problem which they are solving. And when you connect that, you really become passionate and aware about that this is what you are doing. Now imagine a world where everybody knows that what matters to them and what kind of problem they are solving as per the sustainable development goals. The entire world is going to be divided into 17 different groups, and they will solve the problem together, and they will not have a national boundary or something like that. They will just connect. Okay, so I am passionate about removing poverty, let's connect. you know like I this is one of my dream which I will be doing. Every school has a house, right? So when I was studying, I had four houses: Wellington, Hastings, house, different houses. Like all the school, they create some houses, for their own stuff. Now what if every school has 17 groups of sustainable development goals? Imagine I just do, there's a survey. I'm just planning that I will create a survey or some of the form where people can just do the assessment and they can know that which sustainable development goal they are passionate about and which is their favorite one. Now imagine all those children from different parts of the world and different schools. They say, okay, so I like SDG 4, I like SDG 1, and they're connecting together to solve that problem. Do you think that it will accelerate the way, I mean, accelerate the process of achieving that prosperity? Because today, after 10 years, if you read the report, I think not even they have achieved 20% of the target which they had. And then looking at the wars right now, what Mr. Trump and other people they are engaged in, I don't think it is going to be achieved anymore. And the target of achieving that 1.2 degree temperature rise, which was there, if you read that, we have already lost that. We already, the temperatures all already, I think it rose off to more than 2 degree. So we are already behind the track. But if we have to really infuse these people, I think this is something which we can do, that we give them that, the real sense of understanding about what matters to you, what you want to do, and then eliminate everything which is not important. This is the, I think this is the idea of writing this book.
Wow. So powerful. I mean, it's like some key words that I was like trying to pick. Legacy. It started with legacy. Just writing a note so that your son might read when he grows up or when you're not around him to talk about something. And then it started off with the report that came out and then how we can align. And then the beautiful thought of inculcating the culture right from childhood, from the school stage. And then now talking about like owning the problem solving aspect of it. At the end of the day, we all are problem solvers at home or at office or wherever we are, right? Friends or family. So beautiful. I mean, so on that note, I want to jump on to, I know you're the purpose genie. For the sake of this podcast, I came up with a fun round just exclusively for you. I know we all have read about Aladdin and the magic genie and all of that, right? So now I'm bringing the genie for you. So imagine there is a actual purpose genie that comes from the universe with a magic lamp. Okay. And then we are giving you three wishes. So the first wish I'm going to ask you, if you could change one thing about how organizations operate today, what would that be?
I think the most important, which I already spoke now, is to understand that what problem they are solving, not what they are producing, but what problem they are solving, and then connect that problem with everyone, align with everyone. And
Okay.
those who are not aligned, ask them about the choices which they have.
So if there is one thing about how organizations operate today, what would you change? So
Mhm.
what would be your wish to change in the organizations?
In the organization, I think the it's more about how everybody can become happy with what they are doing. The work which they are doing should not feel like work. It should just feel like I love this. Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a wish for the organizations.
Yeah.
So second wish I have, I'm going to give it to you. If you could give every leader in
Mhm.
this world one special mindset, what would that be?
The mindset of thinking beyond yourself. That is the, because the leadership has never been for yourself. That's
Yeah,
a responsibility. And people think that I've got promoted. I have,
yeah.
I'm up the ladder. Now I've become powerful, but it was never become, never about you. So I think it's more about how can you think beyond yourself.
So selflessness and being a servant leader.
Yeah, but it does not mean that it is not about you, because if you really take responsibility of many people, the first thing which you have to do is understanding about yourself and
Yeah,
managing yourself. That is the most important thing. Because if
right.
I can tell you that, if I am a leader, if I am not psychologically, mentally, spiritually good enough, or
Yes.
maybe I'm not fit, then I should not take the responsibility. So first thing is you, but you are doing for yourself because you have to do for others. That's the thing.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. So help me help you.
Of course, yes, yes. I can relate to that because I say that in my family that if somebody is getting sick, I try becoming not sick. And I do so many things for that. And why I do that? Because if I get sick for one day, I know that what is the challenge which will be happening in my family.
Yeah.
That's my mindset. So I do run every day. I do yoga every day, meditation every day. Why I do that? Because I have to keep myself fit. If I'm not well, then
Yeah.
who will take care of my family? That's my mindset, and I think the leadership has to also be thinking like that.
Beautiful. I love it. So the last wish is so let's say if your work and your ideas could create one everlasting shift in the people that you really love and you live with, what kind of shift do you expect? to happen from them.
Hmm, that's interesting one. I think the shift I really want to look at all the people around, and it starts really early when you start your career.
Yeah,
But when you make your choices, it is very important to understand yourself before you make the choice. Because one thing is for sure, what I mentioned before is that it is not about you. You have to solve the problem. The moment you shift that focus, you really understand that the choices is not for you, but it is a responsibility which you're making to solve the problem which you have.
right.
So I think, yeah, that is a shift which I would like everybody to think about, that don't just focus on where the world is running and where they are going. It is about you and your own journey. Even if you're slow, even if people are not, appreciating or recognizing at this moment, if you feel that something is good, go for it.
Yeah, brilliant. I love those answers, and I hope in one way or the other, whether it could be a Purpose Genie lamp or something, or with your magnificent work, I hope that you'll be creating that legacy that you always want to create. And I wish you very, very best for that.
Thanks, Sandhya.
Yeah,
Regarding Purpose Genie, I also want to mention through your podcast is
yes,
Purpose
please.
Genie is when I created, I never thought that Purpose Genie is me. I thought that I will create more and more and more Purpose Genie. So when I say people who are really aligned to who they are and what problem they are solving, they're also becoming Purpose Genie because they can. So Purpose Genie, the meaning is how can you create magic from your purpose? So
Right,
when you are purposeful, you're creating magic through that. You're also purpose genie and make more purpose genie. So
right.
infuse, I just posted a video yesterday and there was a very good discussion which happened from with someone. And we were discussing about it that there's a lot of problem which is going on in the world. Sustainable development goals, we don't know it's going to be, achieved or all those things. What do we do? I mean, should we think about that? And then we discussed the same thing that whoever we are at this moment of time, if we infuse those purpose and the alignment with everyone, those people who really want to make the positive change, we will try to make that positive change irrespective of what other people are doing, and then we'll become more powerful. And that reminded me of, even watching Mahabharat, when Lord Krishna was saying to Arjuna that what you are focused at this moment of time, you have to take that ownership, you have to take that the power which you have to defeat your enemy, not because you want to defeat, but you want to dharma, you have to establish dharma into the world. And that this is what I think purpose is also, that
Yeah,
if we all do become the purpose genie, then I think dharma will be established. I mean, I know that I'm talking big things, but I think even at a smaller scale, if you do something, I think we can do the ripple effect. That's a beautiful word which I got to know from my mentor. Ripple effect. If you do something good, I'm talking to you, maybe there will some shift to you. If this somebody will listen to our conversation, there will be some shift, and that is the ripple effect which you're talking about.
I'm just speechless with the golden nuggets of wisdom that you're just throwing and throwing and throwing at me. I'm like, I'm just at the receiver's end. And I hope the audience also feels that way, Devesh. And I know that just one episode is not enough. We need to come back and then get deeper dive into the ECG framework that you have built. And then we also need to talk about your other book that you have written and the new thing that is upcoming. So definitely we need to have another episode with you for sure. And before we close, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience?
I would just say that I love the conversation because sometimes it happens that when your energy matches, when the vibration is matching with the host, you really be yourself, and then you can take out the best of yourself. I think you have done that. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for that. Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, you're a great host, to be very frank.
Thank you.
For the audience, I think I would just say that if you're listening to this podcast, it is important to understand that we are not talking anything about ourselves and not promoting ourselves. It's just that we all need ourselves and the world needs us. The world need purposeful leaders. Don't go with my brand. When I say purpose, it is about whoever is around you. Shift your focus from yourself to somebody else. Either either it is in business or in your family or your friends or the society or community, or whether it is a planet. We need everybody's contribution. So please do that contribution.
Beautifully said, Devesh, as always. And I completely resonate with what you said, and I hope the audience also resonates. We will continue this conversation on another
We
episode,
will.
as I said.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And thank you so very much for so selflessly sharing how it all started and where you're heading next. And I hope this resonates with a lot of more people. And you're planting seeds as you're going. And that's what I believe in. That's what we all do, whether we are speaking, whether we are training, whether we are coaching, or whatever we are trying to do, that selflessly and purpose driven work is what we are into. And that
Yes.
is why the frequency matches so well with our groups that we are connected with. And I'm so grateful for this amazing conversation that I had with you
Same
today.
here, Sandhya. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on the Trailblazers podcast today. If today's conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who you think might get inspired and on this journey. And you never know how they might find purpose through all this listening that they are going to do. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep blazing on your own trail. And you don't have to copy others.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
very much,
much,
Sandhya.
Devesh.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely fabulous time with you today. Thank you.
Same here.